friends. Chris Kelly here, late in the week as usual, and time for some stats and a little info on what's going on in the marketplace. So let's jump in and look at what's happened in the last week. I'll minimize me so that we can look at numbers. Nothing dramatic. I mean, these numbers kind of have just been largely where they are. I mean, you can see, the solds are down 9%, but that's, single digit changes week over week is not terribly significant, especially small single digit changes like this. So, the velocity or pace of the market, that's moved up, or I should say slowed slightly, right? I mean, we've been at kind of 30 and 32 days average and 8 to 10 days median. Well, we're at 12 and 35. So it's just crept up a little bit. Some of that is a function of, inventory numbers. I'm not saying they've gone up. They haven't. But if they come to market at a certain level and the pace of sales slows at all, that effectively almost compounds on itself. So, but it's fairly insignificant. And of course, average and median sales price in Portland Metro, this keeps bouncing around between, 535 and 585. This keeps bouncing around between 585 and 650. And that sounds like a giant spread, and it kind of is. But that's largely where they've lived, right? I mean, I think last week this was at 585, and the week before it was at 545. So it's just kind of where things are. Nothing terribly dramatic in this. In the national side of things, Dr. Lawrence Yun is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. And he's a guy that I pay attention to and keep an eye on. So there was an article in here in the online, NAR economist, housing recession is over. And what he says, what that really means is, even though we're not picking up the pace, we're not in a recession. So really what he's saying is that's a bottoming, that's a bottoming out of things. And I would suggest that it's more than that here in Portland, because, we lost value, for example, for a period of months, and then we recovered most all of that, if not all of that, depending on where and price point, we've recovered that back. So, in the face of higher interest rates, I think interest rates yesterday were right below 7. One of my my go-tos had said, hey, that we're at 6.9. Okay. Nobody wants their interest rate to start with a 7, so they keep it right below there and price accordingly. But, interest rates have, for the most part, bounced around in the high half of the 6s now for some time. This article suggests, just like the data that I have put forth in the past few weeks here, that interest rates will find their way down. This article says to 6.4% nationally by year's end. Yeah, that's a fair estimate. That's not a dramatic change, but it's enough to start a downward trend. The chart I think I posted last week talked about interest rates getting down a little further than that even, and really next year, possibly ending up in the low 5s. If memory serves me, I'll have to go back and look. But there was definitely the sign is a downward trend in interest, and ultimately, again, what that'll do is it'll create an upward trend in pricing, particularly if the inventory situation doesn't improve or become larger. The amount of inventory becoming larger, not the problem becoming larger. So anyway, all in all, I think we're just going to bump along here for a bit. I do think rates will find their way, down slightly. I do think that this article's accurate. I'll post a link to it. But really nothing dramatic. In large part, people that think moving's a neat idea just in and of itself, it would be nice to move, aren't. A lot of those folks are tied to 3 and 4% interest rates and just don't want to give them up. which I've talked about, that just kind of exacerbates the problem. Um, but then there's the rest of the world that needs to move. Life events, the things that happen that cause us to start where we're here, over here, and end up over here. And that's largely where, in my industry, that's largely the people that we're helping. Once in a while, somebody moves because they found something they like, or what it is. But a lot of the time, it's hey, we need to move. We got job relocated, or divorced, or remarried, or merging families, whatever it is. So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I'll attach that article, and we'll go from there. But I wanted to leave on this note. Oh, weird. My system hit pause, but I want to leave on this note. Saturday, the 21st annual Kelly Marketing Group Picnic. I know you've heard this from me a whole bunch of times, but can't say it enough. It's a great time, and I'd love to see you out there. And I'd love it if you come and bring some friends, bring family. Have a great time with those that you like and those that you love. And that's why we do it. So anyway, hope to see you there. And as I always say, until the next time.